love this mind espresso from Dave Evans at Stanford, who wrote Designing Your Life, and he's talking about using design thinking to design your life. And the first thing he notes is that people have two problems. Number one, they're focused on finding my passion. And he said 80% of people don't have an overarching passion, one that fuses job and profession with your calling, right? And if 80% of the people don't really have that, then is it smart to try to chase that, follow your passion? Then the second piece is we look at problems in the wrong way. He said, look, there are two types of problems that we face overarching and one good way, right? So two bad ways to look at problems and one useful way. Number one, we fight gravity. He talks about gravity problems right here. Gravity problems are immutable problems, problems you can't change. If you've got 10 people in their 30s in the senior leadership of a company and you want to get up to the senior leadership of that company in the next 3 years, that's a gravity problem, right? Traffic, for the most part, is a gravity problem. However, it could be an anchor problem, right? An anchor problem is just when we're looking at a problem through the lens of frustration rather than the ability to solve it. So my anchor problem could be, I can never get to work on time. Well, if I look at that through a different lens, I could say, well, if I leave at a certain time and take a certain path, and I look at my workday like this, maybe I can make my workday better, right? I've looked at it, I've reframed the problem. And then he said, that's the big thing, to make your anchor problems wicked good problems. So the real key here, from a problem-solving perspective, is to acknowledge your gravity problems, things that are immutable, things you can't change, fighting gravity, fighting the weather, right? A lot of people just waste their times like trying to be Don Quixote, trying to charge the windmill. Waste of life, right? Then turn your anchor problems into what he calls wicked good problems. It's fun to have wicked good problems. So if something's not working in your life, think of it as a wicked good problem to solve. And that helps us turn frustration into curiosity, right? Frustration to curiosity, and that becomes the driver of your life. In fact, he says, being endlessly curious with a hopeful bent is the only way to maximize your life. So how do we continue with this? Well, if we want to think about what we want out of life and we're frustrated because we haven't found our passion, he says start with curiosity and energy. Where do you put your energy and what are you curious about? Because those are going to be the drivers that are going to be intrinsic, right? You're going to do those no matter what. When you come into obstacles, you're still going to use your curiosity and flow where your energy goes. Then he suggests, in addition to solving the problems of life, here's how you turn an anchor problem, which is I don't have my passion, into a wicked good problem. You prototype 3 completely different lives for you, right? One over here, one here, and one here. And you try to get rid of the assumptions that you've made. I need to make X amount of money. He says, what do you really want out of life? And then design 3 completely different lives. One could be a poet in France. Another could be a high-paying professional. Another could be I want to start up my own help the children fund, right? Something like that. And then people tend to have this, these different buckets, my creative bucket, my professional bucket, I want to help the world bucket, right? And then he says, take some time and prototype them and test them. For instance, if you want to open a restaurant, don't go open up a restaurant. Go be a waiter, right? Or train as a manager at a small restaurant and learn the business. And that's prototyping and testing the prototype, right? With a phone, if you test a prototype, I know if the button's here, I actually like it better over here. And then when you start prototyping your 3 and you test them, then answer 3 questions with different degrees. Do I like it? Is it energizing? Do I have the resources to be able to do it? Do I have to go find more resources? Can this be feasible at all? Does it have coherence? Does it actually have coherence with the rest of my life where it fits with my kids and where I live? And do I have a degree of confidence? And then make a choice. And here is his 3rd piece of wisdom, which I love. You can make a good choice poorly, or you can make a poor choice and make it well. What does that mean? Even if I don't choose the best option, if I execute on it to a high level, I can make it a top option, right? And if I make a really good choice, but I don't execute on it, I don't commit to it, I don't cut out the other things in my life that I need to cut out, I can make a really good choice, but I can make that choice poorly. And this also gets to another piece of intel, of inspiration I loved, which is you tend to earn your passions. Passions are found as we experience different things and it ignites us. It's not this big thing waiting for us to find it like in the wilderness and all of a sudden it's gonna pop into our head, right? Passion happens within the doing. And within the doing we can find passions, and you have multiple passions. And he sums it up by saying you need to be endlessly curious with a hopeful bent. And the way to do that is to turn your anger problems into wicked good problems, get rid of the gravity problems, design your life, and ultimately make your choices well. And that is this week's Mind Espresso.